The Chiefs rebuild begins now. Let's talk about that. What is up, Chiefs Kingdom ACU crew? Welcome in, welcome in. Sorry, running a little bit behind. Had a camera problem. Got this backup camera going, so I look a little funky, but it'll be all right. Hope you guys are doing good tonight. Real quick, we want to shout out sponsor of tonight's live stream, DraftKings.
The next great touchdown is coming, and you can bet on it. We've teamed up with DraftKings Sportsbook, which is the best place to bet those touchdowns. DraftKings has industry-leading live betting market availability, which feature dynamic odds that move with the game and more open live betting markets more often. So get in on the action and sign up using our promo code ACU right now. With DraftKings, the crown is yours.
Download DraftKings, use promo code ACU. Man, the Chiefs are 1 week away from the actual rebuild beginning, Mike. We're almost done with this cursed, wretched season.
I don't even think it's a week at this point.
Dude, everyone's been in rebuild mode for 3 weeks now, right?
Yeah.
All we've seen online is Ruben Bain, Jeremiah Love. It's like, dude, everyone's over it. And I think we could officially be over it after Sunday, right? Sunday, 4:25. I believe that's when, Eastern time.
Yeah, people's going to be focused on the playoffs. But, as a Chiefs fan, do you care? Do you really care who wins this year if the Chiefs aren't in?
No. I could give a rat's ass, brother. I don't care who wins.
I honestly don't want to see, say, the Broncos win.
Yeah.
I don't really think I have to worry about that too much.
I don't
still
think
they're kind of a fraud.
Very fraudulent. Their defense is not going to score them enough points for them to win a Super Bowl. It's just not going to happen. But, man, let's just talk about the Chiefs a little bit real quick. I mean, there's a handful of players that are out in this game coming up against the Raiders. Not that it really matters. I think we're going to see more of the same. We're going to see Oladokin out there throwing for a career-high 72 yards, maybe getting a touchdown in there because the Raiders are tanking too. And it's just nothing to talk about from this game coming up. For all intents and purposes, the season is over. So, Mike, let's talk about what everybody wants to talk about. Let's talk about the draft. Let's talk about free agency. Let's talk about which coaches we can fire. Let's talk about how we can get this team back on the right track.
Well, again, I think everybody's going to agree with me. We can talk about free agency all you want. We can talk about draft all you want. But the first and the most important thing has got to be how they handle this coaching staff going into 2026.
100%.
I think Matt Nagy has to go. We've already talked about this 100 times, but he has to go. He's not under contract. I think you just got to let him walk away. You got to find somebody to replace it. I don't know who you replace him with. Do you go out of the house to get fresh blood? Does Andy replace him with whoever? I think there's only a few guys that I would really be upset with, and a lot of them would be promotions from underneath, such as a Connor Embry. We would all burn down Arrowhead. You would have to move it 2030 and just be gone next year if that happened.
Right.
Joe Blameyer, look, I'm sure he's a cool guy. I just don't want him running the offense. Girardi, same way. Pinkston, all these dudes need to just kind of hit the bricks. We've talked about this over and over. Bring in who you want from the outside. If you want it to be a Kafka or a Dayball or even Bieniemy, it is what it is. But you've got to start with that, because I'll give you this, and I posted this the other day on X. We have one passing touchdown in this offense. One passing touchdown. This came last week since Thanksgiving versus the Cowboys.
Man, does it not remind you of
this offense?
Was it the 2012 season when we went
when
literally
we didn't have
a year
a receiver
without a
catch a touchdown?
Yeah, that's what it reminds me of.
It's that bad. And look, you would say, well, Mahomes has been injured. He wasn't injured in the 2 games before Oladokin, the 2 games after that we lost to Dallas and we had to beat the Texans. We had to beat the Chargers. And Mahomes was in, and we still couldn't have a passing touchdown. That's how stagnant this offense has become.
I don't even want to revisit it. Just thinking about the Cowboys game, the Texans game, and even the Chargers game, it's just that's probably one of the 3 worst weeks of Chiefs fandom I've had in a long, long time, brother. Very disappointing. But yeah, man, so Pat is trying to recover here, and a lot of the, I guess, coordinators took to the mic today, Mike, and they talked about a little bit of this and that. Matt Nagy talked about Patrick, doing his rehab and about how he's going to attack it, and he's already ahead of the game, and he fully expects him to why do you have a weird Ugg mug?
This is our season. I'm using this every day. Did you not watch the show on Netflix?
No, sir. I don't even know what that is.
He said, "Oh, I love him." It was
Like
like Love on
Napoleon
the
Dynamite?
Spectrum, I think was the name of it. I love that dude.
Yeah, but either way, Matt Nagy did do something I thought was interesting today. Do you remember a few weeks ago when Travis Kelce was talking about, well, he wasn't talking about retiring or anything, but that was kind of what the topic was. And he said, the Chiefs are going to need him back. The Chiefs are going to this and that. Matt Nagy also spoke in that tense today in his presser.
Did he?
Yeah, he said that the Chiefs just couldn't, it was just a bad year for the Chiefs and that maybe they needed to have it.
So he didn't say it's a bad year for us.
No. And I mean, he might have went on to say
he was
us
part
at
of
some
the Chiefs
point.
this year. You would almost have to say.
Exactly. But yeah, that's kind of how that went. So I don't know. We've talked a couple times about how Matt Nagy hasn't signed his extension that they, would have been signed at the end of last year, that he kind of wants to play the market. We talked about the Titans job and the Bergonzi factor, the connection there, the fact that him and Nagy were together for years. You never know, man. And it's like you said, before we can even get into the draft and before we can get into free agency and anything like that, like, yes, all that's exciting, which players we can get and which holes we can fill and all of that. But I mean, I'm with you, dude. You got to cut the fat in the coaching staff. You have to.
Well, we dodged a bullet. All the people that wanted Gruden in here, there's still hope. He didn't take the Michigan job.
Yeah,
So
I
my
saw
theory
that.
on that was out,
I saw that. Shout out Don real quick. Been a member for 8 months. Appreciate you, Don. And then we got Greg Goodwin, our boy in the house, member for 18 months, says, what about trading McDuffie and a high draft pick for Myles Garrett? I don't think they would trade Myles Garrett, period. And then even if it could, like everyone talks about, salary cap stuff now, like there's just no room for a Myles Garrett. I mean, what would you even do? 40-some million dollars a year. That's what Mahomes is essentially making because he always restructures every season. So,
Yeah, and I mean, essentially you're getting rid of McDuffie because you couldn't afford it. So to add a bigger contract, I don't know.
the idea of having Myles Garrett is fantastic.
Also, I don't like the fact that we're giving away another draft pick. We need to be adding them. I don't want to be giving them away.
But if you could get Myles Garrett for it, you would do that, right?
possibly, I don't know.
If the
really-
contract wasn't $40 million a year, you would do it.
Yeah, but I'm just saying. But you get rid of McDuffie and a pick.
You would do it if it wasn't a $40 million contract.
You would do it, but
Yeah.
how many passing touchdowns is Myles Garrett going to get for you? We got to fix
None.
the offense too. We've got to fix the offense too.
Right,
We've
but
got
I mean,
a lot
you've
more
been
trouble.
more adamant about it than anybody in the entire Chiefs kingdom for years now. Like, hey, we're
Oh,
going to do
I
something
totally
about this
agree. I
pass
just
rush,
don't-
right?
I just don't think we can. I just don't know.
Yeah,
I
appreciate.
don't know if you got to swing
Greg.
that hard. I don't know if you have to swing that hard. That's what I'm saying.
Mateo with the 2. Appreciate you, brother. Thanks for the support. We got Chiefer, our boy in the house. Mod of the century here, baby. Member for 28 months says, my New Year's resolution is to use my free chat wisely. Let's go. Hey, people are good at using them free chats wisely, man. You got to get on board.
Got to get there, man.
Got to get on board, Mike. But what we're talking about the pass rush just a little bit. That's something that Steve Spagnuolo spoke on today. He talked about the 2 rookies. He said that he thought that Omar Norman Lott was coming along nicely right before he got hurt. And he also said that he thought Ashton Gelati progressed all season long, is on an upward trend towards next season, and he expects it to keep going. Mike, that's great and all. And I agree. I think that Omar Norman Lott was starting to get a little bit comfortable, but I mean, honestly, probably could have been comfortable if y'all wouldn't have played guinea pig with him and tried to make him fat.
Absolutely.
And then on top of that, it's like Ashton Gelati, of course he's been progressing because you're finally giving him some snaps. If you would have given him snaps from the beginning, he'd probably already be in pretty good, right there with at least better than what Charles Omenihu and Mike Dana were giving you. We know that.
Yeah, well, he couldn't have been any worse.
Right. So I don't know, man. These coaches have driven me absolutely batshit this season.
Yeah.
And they're continuing to do it even though the season is pretty much over. They gaslight the hell out of the entire fan base over and over again.
It's like these guys all got in a room together. And they was like, how can we be just the most annoying group there was possible? They were like, let's take this dynasty and just implode it from the inside out.
Yeah, dude. It's been pretty depressing.
I guess it was just part of the script. I mean, I don't know what else to say.
Well, I mean, Dave Tope
How
talks.
else do you explain? I'm just being goofy. But how else do you explain so many, like, Hall of Fame head coaches just making the most bonehead decisions over and over? And it's like John Grisham over here on his couch Well, that's an author. Okay, John Williams over here on his couch, that's probably an author too. But he sees it. But Spags don't see Jamari Conner getting cooked every play? Like, what? Like, everybody can call this out, but we can't see it. All these Hall of Fame head coaches can't see all this ridiculous stuff. It's wild.
I mean, it couldn't be any more obvious. That's the sad part. Anyway, I was going to say, Tobe also talked today. Talked about how they want to do things to help create wins for the football team. You could have fooled me all season long, brother.
Yeah, what's he talking about?
Special teams was atrocious. Talking about development. And
Tobe needs to be on the chopping block. Like, he's one of the higher up to go, I think.
He literally said today that he said he was satisfied with the progress of the younger special teams unit that we had.
God, what
isn't
the
that
hell is
sad?
he watching?
As bad as they were, he was okay with it. And then it's weird.
I mean, I
and
guess we got to a point where we didn't have 7 holding penalties a game. We got down to the point where we only had 3. So I guess they had some progress.
And then, of course, I guess if you want to go ahead and touch up on what the other two had to say, too, with Matt Nagy and Steve Spagnuolo. Nagy talked about Brashard Smith a little bit, talked about how he thought his ceiling was very high and all that, which, once again, could have fooled me because you wouldn't give him the football, weren't using him a whole lot. Talked about how this last game was still an audition for many players, which we all know isn't true at this point. They're not even playing the young guys. And then Steve Spagnuolo just said the usual gaslighting stuff, man. Our guys are working hard. We're working hard.
We're working hard.
We're not
I'm
checked.
sure
We're
they
not
are.
checked out. We're still working hard.
I'm sure they're working hard, but I mean, again, I don't think a lot of it's player. I felt like this whole, like, a lot of this like season, it's felt like a big puzzle, and it's just not coming together because it feels like we're just missing pieces everywhere. But I feel like all these missing pieces are like the coaches have them all in their pockets and they're not out there for us to use. You know what I mean? It's like they're purposely causing this stuff by being hard-headed or whatever. So I don't know.
Sad.
I'm not blaming many players for it.
It's hard to. Something Spags mentioned was they thought that some of the veteran players, he mentioned Nick Bolton, I think Chris Jones, said that they played a big role in keeping that locker room together on that entire slide. So I think, with everything going wrong with the Chiefs and them not making the playoffs and then Patrick getting hurt and everything, at least one good thing you can pull from it is that guys like Chris Jones and Nick Bolton kind of kept the team from completely imploding, I suppose. But that's just from Steve Spagnuolo's point of view.
So what happens if they completely imploded?
I don't know, but to me that
we were
kind
out
of like
the playoffs in
doesn't that kind of
September, not October?
No, because he was talking about after. But I mean, doesn't that kind of just go to show you that a lot of people have been saying like they've lost this team, like the coaches have lost this team, and is that not kind of play into that whole thing? Like we had to keep the team together from the veterans, Like I feel like they did lose this team this season with just terrible coaching, dude. And I think that shows it a little bit. Mike, shout out Amy real quick with the 5 bomb. This is what you think about. I think she means Ruben Bain Jr. from Miami. So, man, that's the new hot ticket, man. Last week it was Jeremiah Love. This week, Chiefs Kingdom is rock hard solid about Ruben Bain Jr.
Dude, I was all over this too. About 3 days ago, I posted a highlight reel of him.
Maybe you're the one that gave everybody the collective hard on.
And I posted his pros and cons. And like the initial reaction was, no, too short.
Arms are
too
too
slow.
Yeah.
We need Jeremiah Love. You're crazy. His arms are too short. This guy sucks. And then we all watch him in a playoff game, and he had 1 sack. It wasn't like the greatest thing. I think he had 3 tackles and
a couple
1 sack.
Tackles for loss. Yeah.
And everybody loves him all of a sudden. And I don't dislike Ruben Bain. I think he's a good prospect. As of right now, I've only really looked at about 10 prospects. So he's in my top 10 prospects right now. That's what I could say. I think he's a solid prospect. I think he's a Spags type of guy. He's not overly fast. He's got a good get off the ball. I really like that about him. I think he's really good at getting off the ball. He's strong. He's strong as an ox, dude. Like, I think I seen a tackle yesterday where the dude was blocking him out of bounds, and he was just holding the guy here and pulled the other dude down. Like, he's got a lot of good qualities to him. He's not super twitchy, which lets you believe that maybe Spags would like him. Spags don't usually like those guys like that.
You said, like, when you first brought up Ruben Bain Jr., and of course, like, if you mention somebody on X, or if you mention anything about the Chiefs on X, you got everyone coming out of the woodwork to tell you why you're wrong. And that's just the way that platform's built. And like you mentioned, Ruben Bay Jr. put out a highlight thing, and then everyone came at you with his arms are too short and blah, blah, blah. They'll never draft him. His arms are too short. Like,
Yeah,
because everybody becomes
wasn't me to say the Chiefs should draft him. It was literally just me.
Understood. And then
talking about a
everyone
player.
becomes,
Yeah.
a scout expert at this time of year and are talking about arm length. Like, and I will say this, the kind of the sentiment from the fan base today after he played, his bowl or his FBS game is, well, it doesn't, that kind of stuff don't even matter. We need to quit talking about arms and this and that. And we just need playmakers on this team. And I'm like, I can finally get on board with that. Like,
I
that
can
is
get
one
on
thing.
board with it.
That's the one thing I can get on board with, is because I think the Chiefs have hamstrung themselves in the last 5, 6, 7 drafts, worrying about measurables and what this guy can do and if this guy
Trying
can
to
set
fit
the
certain
edge.
molds for certain
No,
positions.
assholes. Let's just get guys on the team that can make plays and are good
Yeah.
at playing football, please. I mean, we pass up so many good players, dude.
I agree.
So many good
Look,
players.
There's a rumor that when he comes to the combine, he's going to have less than 31-inch arms. I find that hard to believe.
Who even cares? I don't care
Well,
if he's got
if
T-Rex
you look
arms
at-
if he can get after the quarterback.
If you look at all the pass rushers throughout the league, the best pass rusher with the shortest arms, and people will not know this unless you are very clever, Micah Parsons only has 31.5-inch arms.
because
did
it
you
doesn't
know-
matter that much.
Exactly.
It's nitpicking.
Did you know that may be one of the greatest pass rushers in Chiefs history? He's got to be in the top 5-10. Jared Allen only had 32-inch arms. So you're going to tell me that a 31-inch arm and a 32-inch arm is this much of a difference, and that's going to make the whole player's career? You're out of your mind. If you look at the actual Pro Bowl roster, if you take Myles Garrett off that, because he's got arms, he could touch California and Florida if he goes out in his backyard. If you take him off, the average arm length for every Pro Bowl pass rusher is only like 32.5 inches. So I think you got to start throwing measurables. You don't have to disregard them completely, but if you see the guys performing on film and he's playing at a high level versus high competition, you don't just throw that out and say, well, his arms are a half inch too short for me. I think that's ignorant, and I think the Chiefs have done that. They started to get away from it a little bit because Gelati is not 100% a Spags type mold.
Yeah. Well, I mean, just most recently, and we bring this one up a lot because it's just such a sore subject for us, but Nick Benito.
Yeah.
I mean, I think he was a 32.5-inch arm guy, and everyone said the same stuff about him.
But you know why Benito wins? It's his bend.
It's his bend, dude, and we talked
could
about
bend.
that. Mike,
Yeah, he
you at the expense of, or maybe the risk of
One of
getting
the first
attacked,
times, yes, on
you
this
said
channel.
that he slightly reminded you of Derek Thomas with the bend.
Absolutely. I seen a little Derek Thomas bend, and I don't see that very much with pass
But
rushers.
that's the thing about it. And just to make my point, like, it doesn't matter how long anyone's arms are. If you have speed and explosiveness and you just have a knack for getting to the quarterback,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter, how long your arms are or how big your genitalia is or anything like
Well,
that.
if you're Chris Jones, you're tripping. You're tripping everybody in the trenches with that bad boy. Okay.
Yeah, dude, I don't know. I just hate when it gets too nitpicky with a lot of
Appreciate
these
the
players.
question
dude.
though, Amy. I like talking about Ruben Bain, preferably because he was the first player I scouted, so I like it.
That and he has a cool name, right? Ruben Bain Jr.
I mean, who don't want a guy on your team named Bane?
Let's
It's
do
like
it.
a Batman supervillain.
Real quick, guys, appreciate y'all being here. Do us a favor, hit the like button if you haven't yet. It just takes a second. It'll help us out. Get some more people in here, have a good little conversation. We know the college games are on today, and a lot of people are real interested in that. And then, of course, it's just not all that exciting anymore. The season's pretty much over, but we'll be getting into a lot of off-season stuff here soon. I mean, we're literally getting ready to dive in headfirst into the draft. We've already stuck our toes in the water a little bit, but we're getting ready to go in headfirst here soon, so... it's going to be fun. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, hit the subscribe button and hang out with us all off season. Constant Chiefs content over here on this channel. So be on board, baby. Our boy Doug, been a member for 28 months now, says, AC, you're the greatest draft channel out there. Let's freaking go. Great work, gentlemen. Appreciate you, Doug. Right on cue. It's like Doug knew what I was going to say, and he's like, I'll vouch for you. I appreciate that, Doug. But yeah, I mean, we do a lot of draft content. We always have. We'll continue to do it this year. I think we'll keep improving on the draft content. I mean, as a channel as a whole, we've been improving. We've been going for what? This will be our 4th season coming up.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's been good, man, and we've grown pretty quick, and we're literally the #1 independent Chiefs channel on YouTube. So, I mean, outside of people that have, a big company backing them or some kind of multi-channel network type thing, like we're the biggest ones there are. It's just fans for fans. And this is a place to be at. And we're going to dig into the draft, man. It's going to be fun. Appreciate that, Doug. But yeah, we had a video that came out today. We actually came out yesterday, but YouTube decided to pull no trick out of their bag and flag our video and say that we're inappropriate for people under 18.
We were inappropriate.
It's like,
Hey,
come
Steve, we
on,
didn't even
dude.
say whore. We didn't say anything.
No, we didn't do anything. Didn't do nothing. So yeah, we had to pull the video, repost it. So it came up today. If you didn't get a chance to watch that, it would be awesome if you guys could go watch it after the live stream. Because it keeps telling us our subscribers don't give a rat's ass about that video. So I would like to prove YouTube wrong on that. So if you're a subscriber and you haven't watched it, go watch that after this live stream.
Well, just to tell you what that video's about a little bit as well.
That's what I was getting ready to go into. Go on.
Travis Kelce, if he steps away or if he don't, what's the plan at tight end? Because we have to have one. And we talked about, should we go look at Kyle Pitts, what that could entail. Should you maybe draft Jeremiah Love? If you can't do that, would you settle for a Kenyon Sadiq and trade back? Like, there was a lot of scenarios we thrown out in there. It was fun. But yeah, it's an interesting watch if you're into like draft stuff and you really want to, it's just more Chiefs rebuild. I mean, that's what you're going to get. We're in free agency now. Like we're literally in the coaches getting fired and free agency coming up. So it's going to be the same old stuff to what March, mid-March sometime is when free agency. And then from then it gets crazy draft heavy.
Yeah, it gets a little wild, especially with the draft just, like a month from that. So yeah, it gets pretty crazy. But yeah, let's talk about that a little bit, man. In that video, we kind of covered it, and we won't go too heavily into it now because you can watch it on the video. But Mike, the position that I take is a little bit different than what other people take. And I think that maybe the Chiefs should go out and attack free agency for once, because I've said it over and over again. And I'm sure you guys that are here all the time are probably sick of hearing it. But I think that Brett Veach has done okay in the draft throughout his tenure with the Chiefs as GM. But I think that he's dropped the ball in free agency. And then when I look at such a hole that would be there if Travis Kelce retired, or even though it's already there, let's be honest, if Travis Kelce even plays for another year, you have to fix it, right? Because, Mike, you mentioned it, the whole offense is just kind of molded for a tight end. After Tyreek Hill left, Travis Kelce was 100% the focal point of our offense, and that's kind of how everything got molded to. And now Kelsey's on the backside of his career. He's getting ready to retire probably, and he's just not what he used to be. And it's been a problem, dude. It's been a big time problem. So knowing that they already know how to, I still, and don't get me wrong, I still want them to tweak the offensive scheme. I think that they have to get up to date. I don't think they can continue to do what they've been doing. But I think some comfort with having that tight end security blanket for Patrick Mahomes is important. I think it's very important. So I'm thinking in my head, like, hey, can we figure out a way to pay a Kyle Pitts $14-15 million a year if we can get him for that? And I honestly think that it would be beneficial, as opposed to let's draft another one. Because, Mike, we drafted Jared Wiley, and he's yet to see the field much at all. And then that was a 4th-round pick.
Yeah.
And then we went and got Jake Brenningstool. People are excited about him, but he was a UDFA. He was obviously injured all year. We don't know what he can possibly do. But I think that we know Kyle Pitts is a prototype tight end that could come in here. He's got all the, he's got the speed. He's got everything. Kyle Pitts was, a top 5 draft pick? I mean, there's a reason why he was that high up. And he's had little ups and downs over there in Atlanta. But I feel like he's a guy you could place in here, get acquainted in his offense, and him and Mahomes. Like I said, if they can even hit it off at 80% of what him and Kelsey were able to hit it off at, then – I mean, you're looking at the backside of his career having another one of those guys, because he's only 25 years old.
Right. Kyle Pitts. Let's talk about him for a second. I like Kyle Pitts. I think Kyle Pitts would be a good target to go get. I think Kyle Pitts would be a little better to grab than maybe even a Breece Hall, and I'll explain why. I think I would much rather pay $15 million per year for a tight end as $10 to $12 million a year for a running back. I think it's easier to pay that to a tight end, especially like Kyle Pitts, that basically is that Kelsey Swiss Army knife. Like, he can play all those positions. He's good with the ball in his hands afterwards. He's the big, he could be a deep threat. He could be a jump ball guy in the end zone if you need it. He's got all that. Breece Hall, I love Breece Hall. I went back, looked at all of his stuff. You're right. He does predominantly run out of the outside zone. So I do think he would fit in here very well. I was skeptical. I didn't know if he was primarily zone or what scheme they ran over there. I had to do more research. It was zoned. So I do think he could succeed here as well. The offensive line here is probably a little bit better than with the Jets too, I would think. So I do think he would be a big factor. So either of those I would probably go for. Here's my problem. I think Pitts might actually, this is wild, but I do think Pitts is going to be one of the bigger names in free agency this offseason. And if there's a lot of guys out there willing to spend some money and a lot of teams with a lot of money to spend, he could be kicking up into some big time territory. You can see somebody maybe throw out a 17, 19 million per year with a big fat $75, $85 million up front just to make sure they land somebody. And I'm talking about those teams. Your Dallas Cowboys,
Tennessee
your Denver
Titans.
Broncos, those guys that want to go out and win free agency.
Are you talking about those types? Yeah, but then there's also
Yeah.
teams that really need them, like the
Exactly.
Titans and the Commanders and stuff like
That
that. I think
have
will be
the
big
money.
players. Yeah, exactly.
So I think where it comes down to me is I like those. You mentioned another guy that I would like to see. Maybe you look in free agency for a pass rusher, and you mentioned Boye Mafe. Come to find out, we heard Brett Veach was maybe trying to make a trade for Boye Mafe.
Yeah.
I kind of like that one. I don't know what he would go for, but I do think Boye Mafe is not like top tier. He's not your Myles Garrett, but he is a big upgrade, in my opinion, to a Mike Diana, and he's probably a bigger upgrade to Omenihu, or he's at least on par with the good Charles Omenihu that we would get every once in a while. So I like that. Somebody left in the comments, and again, I wish I'd have wrote down the name because we got a lot of really good commenters, and I just looked at it before we went on air. He had watched the video, and he actually threw out two scenarios, and he asked which one that we would prefer. So I remember the scenario, can't remember who shouted it out. So if you're watching, let me know in the comments if you shouted this out. I'm sorry I didn't give you your props. They said, would you rather have Jeremiah Love at, say, pick number 10 and sign Kyle Pitts in the offseason, or would you rather trade back from number 10 to, say, like 14 or 15, pick up Kenyon Sadiq and a draft pick and sign Breece Hall? There would be the two options. And I liked both of those scenarios. And I almost like the Sadiq Hall thing just as well because you can get the trade back and get that pick. And he also said, let's go ahead and throw Trent McDuffie into that and say you can get rid of him and get a first-round pick out of him too. So essentially you're gaining 2, 3, 4 draft picks off of these moves. I love that. To me, that replicates the New England Patriots dynasty years to perfection.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm not opposed to the Kenyon Sadiq thing as well, but I do think it's more of a wild card in my opinion. Now, he could be insane when he comes into the league. We don't know. I mean, he's a great college player. I mean, he's got everything that you want as a successor to Kelsey, right?
I really like him. He's one of the guys I've scouted so far, and I really like him.
I mean, most notably, the vertical speed is crazy. So stretching the seam. His yards after catch is amazing. Super shifty route runner, which kind of reminds me of Kelsey at times. And I mean, they use them everywhere, dude. They in Oregon. So I mean, they'll have them split out wide. They'd have them in the backfield even sometimes. So I mean, very Travis Kelsey-esque. And then also, his blocking is something that you can't scoff at. Most of the time when you have like a receiving first tight end, it's always like, oh,
no,
well,
he blocks hard. He's
Yeah,
always
Sadiq
looking to
is
lay
a
somebody
blocker.
out.
Yeah,
I like that about him. To me, Sadiq has, when you get him the ball in space, and I want to say there's a big chunk of his catches literally came on screen passes. It looked a lot like us trying to screen to Kelsey, how we'll come out and screen to Kelsey really quick here and there. When Kelsey was in his prime, we used that a lot. You've seen Oregon use that a lot with Sadiq. And Sadiq with the ball in his hands afterwards, that dude is fast. He is fast, and he doesn't really even look like a tight end. There were just lots of things I liked about Kenyon Sadiq. He's got a big frame. There's just everything about him I really liked. And I feel like if you taking that top 10 running back is fun, and it's a sexy thing, but you've always got a risk there. And if you can move back 5, 6 spots, still get a Kenyon Sadiq and pick up some draft picks, I love that scenario.
I just think you got to be smart how you go about it. I mean, whether you go free agency tight end or free agency running back, I think you have to complement that well with the draft.
Yes.
And just make sure no matter which way you go about it, that you're able to fill all those holes and still go out and fill in the other gaps that you have there. Shout out Amy. giving out the membership. Let's freaking go. If you got that, make sure to thank her in the chat for being a legend. We got Fred in the house with the 5 bomb. Says, do you think thinking it didn't play new guys so no one gets film on them for next year? I don't think so, Fred. I think that's I think they didn't play the young guys because they just weren't competent the same way that they've been as a coaching staff all season long.
Yeah.
I don't think it was about
that's a
not
good
getting
thought
tape
process.
on guys. Yeah.
But I believe that's like fan fiction level 3,000 IQ that the coaches really aren't that deep. The same way people say Andy holds up plays.
Yeah, that's kind of
I feel like
I
it's
think
good
so
in
too.
theory, but like football is you have to test yourself against other guys. So I think for us, we would like to have the film. Like
You would think
Chiefs,
so.
Chiefs coaches need to scout that film as well. So
Yeah.
I don't think it's a big deal. Even these players we're looking at, is it like overly like what are you really going to learn about a running back out of the backfield? Like if Brashard Smith gets more or a pass rusher gets more, like you might know some of his moves or whatever. I mean, we've seen, you've seen Myles Garrett for 10 years. Nobody can still stop him because he's good. So if you're a good football player, I don't think having a lot of film helps.
Yeah, honestly,
quarterbacks,
I
you
don't-
can kind of make that.
Yeah, maybe with a quarterback, but like with the guys that we've got that we need to get some snaps in for, I don't know. I just think that the coaches have just dropped the ball once again. They've been doing it all season long, and I think it's what they did again. But appreciate you, Fred. Thanks for the support, brother.
Yeah, appreciate you, brother.
Got Well Turd with the 5 bomb. Says, I'm fine with Love, Bain, or Jordan Tyson in the first. Could possibly get Sadiq in the second round and David Bailey in the third. Peter Woods looks nice too. I did. So obviously, I've only touched on a little bit of draft, Mike. You know that I looked at Love and watched some of his stuff.
Yeah.
I also have watched Sadiq now. And then another guy that I've looked at besides Bain, because I saw a little bit of Bain because everybody's been going nuts about him. But also looked at David Bailey. A lot of people's talking about David Bailey.
From Texas Tech.
Yeah. And I think I'm with you, dude. And I think it really just depends. There's a lot of good players. I don't think it's a particularly deep draft. I did see where I can't remember the guy's name, but he came out today and said, hey, this is a deep draft for edge rushers.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's weird. Like the draft is a game sort of. And it's like, when can we get the best at this position or the best value at what time? And like, how can we tweak that to where we can get everything we need at the most value we can possibly get it, And I just think we'll dive further into the draft and everything, but I think that it's always tough. And Mike, I think we do a fairly good job of figuring out Brett Veach's train of thought.
Right.
A lot of times, because we've hit on a lot of the draft picks in the last few years. So I feel like we got a beat on them. But it's just very tough to know what strategy they're going in with. And, I mean, we'll do what we always do and evaluate all these players and then kind of look at who and when they're talking to and looking at, because that tells a lot of the tale.
Yeah.
But, yeah, man, it's going to be fun. Well, Turd, I think all those players are good players.
Yeah, I do too. I don't think this is a very deep draft. And so with non-deep drafts, the better players at the top, which you just named 5 or 6 if you're going to count Peter Woods, all those guys right now are probably projected first rounders. And I know a lot of people at the end of the process, I just don't know if David Bailey's getting to the third. I don't know if Sadiq falls to the second. Now, it is possible. It just depends. And you got to think about this too. It's not a heavy quarterback class. So you don't have quarterbacks taking those positions and letting those players fall. So
I think
would say by
Sadiq
the end
goes
of this,
first
almost
round.
every one of them go first round, I'd say.
I think Sadiq's absolutely going to go first round for the simple fact that in the last probably 5 drafts, usually the top tight ends are hitting. Like
That's
they're
why
hitting.
I don't really like to pass him. And to me, he is the number one guy. I've only watched 2 tight ends at this point, and I get it. That's crazy. But I've watched 2 of the better ones in football. I've watched Kenyon Sadiq, and I've actually watched Eli Stowers, or Stowers, I think is how you pronounce it, from Vanderbilt. And I've got Stowers. I think by the end of it, Stowers is going to remain in the top 5. I like a lot about him. But I can't see too many people above Stowers, to be honest. Maybe Claire out of Ohio State or somebody like that. Maybe the kid from Baylor. There might be a couple more, but I mean, honestly, I feel like Kenyon Sadiq's just head and shoulders above everybody. So if there is a tight end to go in the first round, and remember we had this conversation last year with some people, Steve. They kept telling me I was crazy because I said that kid from Kansas State was going to go in the second round. People kept saying I was insane.
You're talking about a couple drafts ago. You're talking about Ben Sinnott.
Mid-Senate. Everybody kept telling me I was nuts for saying he was going to go in the second round. Some guy even bet me like $100 that he wouldn't go until round 4. He went in the second round. I mean, I think at the end of the day, a lot more teams are on the mentality of like we just started this whole thing with. Good football players, just draft them. Just draft a good football player.
Yeah, I mean, if
Don't
you look at the
overthink
tight
it.
ends lately in the last few years, you got Tyler Warren. Obviously turned out.
Right.
Sam Laporta was a first-round guy.
And
Turned
David
out.
Bailey, he's a good
Was
football
Sa-
player.
was Sam
Like, people are
Laporta late
freaking out
first
about him
round?
today.
Yeah, he was late first. Or no, he went in second.
Who?
He went after we took. Yeah, never mind. Yeah, Sam Laporta was second round. He was after
Yeah.
we took Felix, right?
Yeah, so see, he did fall. So I mean, it is a possibility that a
But,
Sadiq falls to the second.
I
I
mean,
think
go back
Sadiq
to-
going to the second would be more plausible than Bailey going to the third.
Yeah, but I mean, even if you go all the way back to like the Trey McBride and Michael Mayer draft, 2 of them went in the first round, you know, and like I feel like all these guys pan out, dude. I mean, Trey McBride was the only tight end above Kelsey in stats.
What was the other kid that everybody liked out of UCLA that you really
Greg
liked?
Dulcich kept getting hurt.
Dulcich, he ended up going. Was it second or third for him?
He went in the third round, I think, and he actually had a really good year in Denver his rookie season, but he's just been hurt so much.
Right.
He's kind of floating around.
Yeah, love the question, man. I the only one here I've not really got into too much here is Jordan Tyson. A lot of people love him. I've watched some stuff of Jordan Tyson. I know that he's a big wide receiver. He might be too big for even this offense because you know how Andy is.
You got
If
to
you're
go
over
out
6'2",
and get
you're
the
not
tiniest.
allowed to play.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
They're like, wait, are you not 5'8"? You're not welcome here.
Let's go. We got a 20 bomb from our boy Julian. This is for the
Julian.
draft coming up, which is more a priority, a pass rusher or a running back in the first round. For me, it would be great to get a running back, but defensive line is really in need of that help. So, right on cue, man. Kind of the conversation that we're going with here, and it's like, what is the biggest priority? And I will say this: I think that pass rush has still got to be a top priority for this team. I think that replacing Travis Kelce is a big priority. I think that getting a running back's priority. But I think that the biggest problem that we had as a whole this season, and could have even covered up some of the offensive woes, was if we could get after a damn quarterback. If we could have got teams off the field on long
Yeah.
third downs,
I agree.
there were several games we could have won even with a bad offense. And like, you know, maybe all that worked out the way it was supposed to, right? Because if say our pass rush had been elite this year and we were getting teams off the field and we won 5-6 more games than we did, but the offense was still the same, then maybe there wouldn't be such an emphasis on changing up the offense, changing up the offensive coaching staff, getting an elite running back, or replacing Travis Kelce with someone, you know, that's close to his tier. I think that none of that would have happened. So, I mean, I think things have gone the way they needed to go, and now the ball's in the Chiefs' court, and it has been for a couple years, and so far they haven't done anything with it. And I think this is now you're kind of, you know, at a fork in the road for Brett Veach and Andy Reid and everybody, and it's like, hey, we either got to go all in on rebuilding this thing, or let's take another season of getting beat down, because that's kind of where you're at.
Right. Yeah, I mean, those are two big positions, right? I think having a better pass rush impacts more things than having a better running back. And I'll say that with just this, and you don't have to agree. Nobody has to agree with me. I mean, everybody's got a football IQ. But here's why I would say that, because I've been begging for pass rush, and you've seen it this year. When Omenihu and Dana did not step up this year, we went through lulls where Chris Jones just didn't get after the quarterback as much, right? He was double, triple team. He was tired. He just didn't get home. Karlaftis wasn't getting home. Like Steve said, we're letting up every third down. Every third down and long was a given. Every fourth down was pretty much given up. We were getting Chamari Connor in the slot on bad positions. Chamari was getting cooked because we couldn't get a pass rush home quick enough.
Right.
I think if you get a good pass rusher that can give the quarterback fits, it now makes your corners better. It makes your linebackers better. It makes your whole scheme so much better. Whereas if you get a good running back, yes, it is going to take some heat off Patrick Mahomes if Andy Reid will commit to it. And if the scheme isn't stale within the play calling, as in don't just run it on 2nd and 10 from the halfback, you know, from the shotgun. Don't just do that over and over again. But also you've seen with even Kareem Hunt, older, but the game that Andy relied on Kareem Hunt, he was good enough to power us through that game. Now, you don't have to stick with Kareem Hunt, but you could upgrade Kareem Hunt. You don't have to go all the way to like a Brees Hall, but you could maybe get a nice middle of the road guy there and maybe do some damage with this offense if done right. You've got Rico Dowdle coming up. He took over the Panthers' backfield this year. You've got Kenneth Gainwell coming out of the Steelers. These are all just middle of the tier guys. You got Tyler Algier. These are all guys that I think would deserve more snaps in an offense. Now, do I think they're better than Brees Hall? Absolutely not. But I'm saying, at least, if I'm going to spend my money, I'd rather spend it on a defensive end. And I think a defensive end impacts more in the game. Obviously, if it didn't, I think you'd see more running backs get drafted in the top 5 and not defensive ends. Defensive end's obviously a higher priority position.
Right. Well, I think I mentioned this on maybe the video or something, but like my thing is how you approach that first round draft pick, right? If you're not going to trade out of it to get more draft capital, you have to think about who you're taking, what position you're taking. So I think it comes down to this. Like, do you think Jeremiah Love is a generational talent type guy? Is he one of those guys that you can't pass up? Is he a Saquon Barkley or a Bijan Robinson or an Ashton Genty? Is he one of those? Is he that level? Because if he is, then maybe you go with him. Is Reuben Bain Jr. going to be a guy that can come in and contribute right off the rip and be a double-digit sack guy every year of his career?
Right, but if people think Reuben Bain is that, and people think, let's just say people think Reuben Bain is the next big, the best defensive end of this class, and Jeremiah Love is already considered the best running back. Let's just say it sits like that. Which one of those are coming off the board faster?
The defensive end.
Reuben Bain every time. It's the more valuable position. It impacts more. So again, what you're saying, Steve, is I agree. I think you got to approach with what you're doing. If you don't want to pay the big money to a running back, then it makes all sense in the world to take a nice running back. You get 5 years out of them for basically nothing. Just like you do with Pacheco, right?
Yeah. Man, I don't know. It's going to be interesting, Julian. Appreciate the support, brother.
Appreciate you, man.
Well, Turd with another 2 bomb, and he said, trade a first-round draft pick for Zarda Barbecue. And I think what he's saying is, hey, we've been doing this live stream for a while, and you've yet to shout out one of the sponsors of your live stream, Zarda Barbecue. So good job, Well Turd. Everybody get over to Zarda Barbecue. You can get an $11 lunch if you go. Let me get this off here real quick. Well Turd's in the way now.
I wish you wouldn't put up the food, because that really
ruining
makes me want
Look at that. Look at it. Look at the food. Doesn't it just make you hungry?
It does.
Dude.
I actually woke up yesterday craving Zarda, and I've been sick as a dog, so I've not been eating nothing.
Yeah,
but
so
Zarda
you're real
so
hungry?
good, bro.
Yeah, but you can get $11 lunch over there Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. They got 2 locations, one in Blue Spring, one in Lenexa. Get over there, check them out, let them know All Chiefed Up sent you their way. Us and Well Turd helped out as well, so don't forget to mention him. But yeah, appreciate the 2, man. We got a 5 bomb from Fred. Says we just need to get everyone healthy. And I was just thinking about that barbecue, and I said 8 instead of at. That's hilarious. That's a fat kid thing. He says, and see what we have after we get rid of the deadbeats. So there are a lot of guys on this roster, Mike, that I think we could do without. And I think, like, obviously you got to look at it from the fiscal point of view and be like, well, how much dead money is there if we cut them? How much money are we saving? What are we adding to the salary cap? Like what are we, where are we going to be at here? And I think there's some guys out on our team that should not be getting paid what they're getting paid right now. I mean, the number one that comes to mind is Jawan Taylor. I think everybody knows that. This was the out in his contract. Go ahead, you can go, and that's going to save us some money. They're going to restructure a couple guys. I think you have to look straight. Patrick Mahomes will do it like he always does. I think Chris Jones has to get in on the mix. And I think they look at restructuring some other guys. If they're going to keep Mike Dana, you got to restructure his contract and pay him close to the minimum, right? Like, you can't keep paying these guys that don't do anything for you. And there's a couple, like Christian Fulton, we're paying him $10 million a year. Now, I don't think there's an out. I think he's $8 million dead cap if we get rid of him. So, I mean, what good does it do you? And it's like, I think Brett's got to really look at that. Like, him and his staff have to look at the roster and figure out where they can save money and how they can free up some cap space. And they're going to have to go hard this year, in my opinion, because I think this is a big offseason. So I don't think they can do this thing where they don't really create a lot of space and just try to grab one cheap guy. I don't think we can do that. Like, they got to go hard at it. So I'm with you. I think you kind of look at the roster, Fred, and you're like, who don't need to be here? Who are we paying that don't deserve it, don't need to be here? Can we cut them? Can we get rid of them? How much cap space can we open up? And then, what's everybody's health like, and who do we need to go get? So I would agree with that comment, Fred.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with everything you said too. You got to start cutting people, and you got to get guys like, I think, Drew Tranquil. There's plenty of guys you can get rid of. I think there was like literally 4 people. You like restructure Mahomes, restructure Chris Jones, get rid of who was it? Get rid of Drew Tranquil, get rid of Mike Diana, I think, and you automatically were like 40 million back under the cap. So
Yeah,
you get
dude.
plenty to work with.
We're going to have space to work with. And Brett's really good at doing that, right? He doesn't go the Howie Roseman route where it's like, let's just sign everybody that
Right.
becomes available.
Oh yeah, let's get
and
rid of Jawan Taylor too. I always forget about Jawan Taylor.
Kick
He's-
the can, yeah.
You know, when he's not being penalized every 5 minutes, I just forget he exists.
Well, I mean, honestly, he's decent if he's just could stay away from the penalties. But he actually had a really good run throughout the middle of the season.
He did. I was proud of him for that, like, 7-game run?
Yeah, but on the contract he's on, not worth it regardless.
Would you be fine restructuring him and bringing him back?
If you can get him for cheap,
Because
sure.
it would restructure, free up money this year, maybe sign him for
I don't
3
think there's
more
a whole lot of
years.
people on that team because I think everybody's just kind of tired of it and tired of the penalties
absolutely.
and this and that. So I don't think anyone would be too happy about that. But honestly, like, he is a good right tackle if he can keep the penalties under control. And if you could get him for a good price, then I wouldn't be opposed to it. But what he's getting paid now, it's impossible. He can't.
Well, like, look, if you got him back on a good price for, say, 3 more years, then you've got, Jalen Moore this year to be the same swing tackle. So you didn't lose anything. And then Jalen Moore gets to go back to free agency after next year. You don't have to really sign him up long term. Whereas if you do get rid of Jawan Taylor, Jalen Moore might get the right tackle spot.
wouldn't
this year.
surprise
Or
me-
Esapole, whichever one.
It wouldn't surprise me to see them continue to try to develop Esapole.
Yeah, with Pole
and-
coming on like that, I think maybe that might be the end of Jawan Taylor.
Yes, I think it could be the end of Jawan Taylor. I think it should be the end of Wanye Morris. I think that
yes.
Jalen Moore is going to play this year too under contract, and then I think they move on from him probably. I think what they're probably going to do is continue to try to develop Esa Pole and also look for them to draft some sort of a tackle again. Like, I wouldn't doubt it a bit if they don't keep trying to replenish that tackle thing there just to see if they can hit on somebody else. Tiger Atlas with the 5 says, Mike, where can I find that worship hat like that?
Oh yeah. I got this for Christmas, so I don't really know, but I'm pretty sure.
You got to Google it.
Let me Google it for you here.
You have to go on
Oh.
eBay.
It's called artofhomage.com.
Art of Homage.
Art of Homage.
Amish.
HOMAGE. Art ARTOFHOMAGE.com.
There you go.
And that's where it was, man. I appreciate you loving it.
Well, Turd with another 2 says, I wouldn't doubt if they reverse the O&L weight gain. I hope they do. Like,
Yeah.
maybe they learn their lesson. Like, we just screwed up a knee of a guy that we drafted very high in the draft because we decided to be clever and make him a fat run stuffer. This kid was a 19, almost 20% pass rush win rate in college. And we're going to make him fat and make him Derek Nottie Jr. That might be the dumbest coaching decision of
Hey.
the year. And there were some bad ones.
If we draft Reuben Bain at number 10, they're going to put 5 pounds on him, move him to the inside.
Try to make him fat.
Yeah, I mean, you never know what you're going to get with these guys.
That was
But
one of the dumbest decisions they made. And you know what? When they made that decision, we should have known that the rest of the year, like, if this is the train that they're on this year, they're going to be stupid all year.
Yeah, we should have
regardless.
known that was just the tipping point for what was going to be stupid.
I mean, I think the things that piss me off the most about the coaching staff is it's like common sense stuff. Like, this isn't stuff that, it takes a rocket scientist to figure out. Like, hey, don't make a guy that is an elite pass rusher fat to make him a run stuffer.
When
Listen,
you
it's
need
not.
pass rush.
Also, exactly. Also, hey, you might need a running game in your offense. Like, just obvious stuff, and they just ignore it, and they're just blind to it.
or
It
you cut
kills
Mike
me.
Pennell and give up draft capital for Derek Nottie, and then end up bringing Pennell back with your tail tucked between your legs. Had to admit you were wrong about that.
Why were you
too.
trying to go get Derek Nottie when you were trying to make O&L Derek
Right.
Nottie?
So it's like it didn't make any sense. Like
Brother, I'm telling you.
this coaching staff got together. I think they might be drunk this entire season.
It really is mind boggling, and it does hurt my head, and it grinds my gears, and all that good stuff. That you have such a highly regarded coaching staff with guys that are supposed to be so smart and so great at what they do, and just absolute slapnuts when it comes to obvious common sense
Well,
stuff.
think about this one. At the
It's
beginning of the
ridiculous.
season, we all seen that we were trying to get the corner that Brett Veach overpaid. No doubt, he overpaid him in the offseason with Fulton. But we tried to get the corner because we all wanted McDuffie to go back to the slot. And then you use your Joe Tootie pick that you got for Tootie to trade up to take Noel Williams, who was the perfect outside guy. And you could have put McDuffie in the slot, but instead we didn't want to do it. We left McDuffie there and let Chamari Connor do it over and over
And
again.
then after you
So
watch
many
several
dumb
games
decisions.
and realize that Jamari Connor sucks at that, and he's probably the worst in the NFL. And if he was on any other team, they would have done cut his ass. You continue to do it,
Dude, I
for
would
the
have
rest
rather
of the
had.
season.
I would have rather watched Noel Williams start week 1 and McDuffie play the slot just all season long and watch Noel Williams get burned game in, game out than watching what they did this year and watching Connor get cooked all year long in the slot. I would have much rather watched Noel Williams get cooked than Chamari Connor. At least Noel Williams would have had a
learning
valid
experience,
argument,
right?
Yeah, like a learning experience.
Well, that's what's crazy to me is they wouldn't let
How
Noah
many
Williams.
more years are they going to give Chamari Connor to learn?
Well, it's another thing that pisses me off about the entire thing is Najee Johnson. They let Najee Johnson in his 3rd season get out there and get cooked over and over again and kept saying he's developing. But you won't put your rookie out there who's way better than him? Like, that makes no sense to
And
me.
then the entire 53-man roster debacle where they're cutting these guys and bringing them back, and then they swiftly put Najee on IR to keep him. And it's like, what were we doing? Like, why are you trying to move heaven and earth to keep Najee Johnson that you didn't even activate until week 17, and then he missed the game?
I don't know, brother.
What's wrong with this coaching staff this year? They went
Makes you
nuts.
makes you want to punch a baby. Just
Smack
coaching
a
staff.
baby in the face.
And there ain't many things that can make you want to do something that bad, but this coaching staff will put you in that mind frame.
Steve, I would have punched you when you were a baby.
Yeah. Janae, appreciate you being a member. She says, Happy New Year, ACU. Happy New Year, by the way. We're kicking off 2026 right, being pissed off at the coaching staff. Let's go.
Let's go. Hey, first day of the year, Steve.
What are you
Same
gonna do?
argument as last year.
Well, it's time for new beginnings.
It is.
And I think that Andy Reid needs to take that to heart and realize that, pretty much the entire offensive coaching staff needs to go kick rocks. And let's just hope, not going to hold my breath, but we can always hope, Mike. Well, Turd with the 2 says, roll with Butker next year or cap casualty. I think you roll with Butker. I'm not with the whole cap. Let's save cap by getting a different kicker thing, which he is. I guess you could argue he's overpaid because he's the highest paid in the league. He makes more than Cameron Dicker. But at the same time, it's just like...
No, not Dicker, the kicker.
Yeah, but at the same time, like, Butker had a rough season. But didn't everyone else on the entire
Who
roster?
didn't? Who didn't have a bad
So why are we
season?
holding him to a higher standard than the damn coaching staff and everybody else on the team? And here's my thing about it. It's like, when it really boils down to it over the entire run here, it's like Harrison Butker has been rock solid. Like, he has been big balls Butker, winning us playoff games, winning us AFC championship games, winning us Super Bowls, making ridiculous kicks. Like, he's got ice cold blood in his veins. Just like, I don't think that, you can replace that. Like, the clutch gene that Harrison Butker has, I don't think you can replace that. Like, there's not many guys that can go out and stare at a 50-plus yard field goal in a do-or-die situation on the biggest platform on the planet. Everyone in the world's watching you, and just be out there completely cold-blooded kicking those things over and over again. And that's what he can do. And I don't know if you let that walk.
Right. Kickers always get held to a different standard, right? Because people's like, well, you only got one job. You play 4 snaps a game. You need to be able to execute all 4 times. Okay, but like a receiver plays 70 snaps a game, and they're barely executing on half of them. But the kicker just kind of always comes in on the scoring stuff. So I do get it both ways. I think Butker has earned himself at least one more season, the same way Andy has, to be honest. Does he get paid a lot? Yeah, maybe they can restructure. Maybe he could do something with his
It
salary.
makes
I
like
don't know.
$6 million.
Right. It's not crazy, but maybe they can turn 2-3 million of that into like a cash bonus or something and save a little bit towards the cap. I'll let Butker at least try one more season. I think this was a new year going back to the different kicking ball. I still don't know if Ariza is the best holder in the world. I can't confirm that, but nobody's ever really asked or
Boy,
talked
they
about
were quick to
this.
throw Tommy Townsend under the bus.
Right. Everybody wanted to throw Townsend under the bus, but nobody wanted to throw Ariza. So it is what it is. I think I give him at least one more year. I'm not. But look, if we get to the playoffs next year and he misses one, everybody's gonna be like, should have cut him.
Leave Butker alone. Let's go, Flapjack, with a 20 bomb. Says, once Mahomes won a Super Bowl with Hardman, MVS, Tony, Sky, the coaches really believe scheme over talent. Get Mahomes actual weapons. Trade Rice. Please trade Rice.
Whoa.
Mahomes knew he was bad. That's why he blew Rice's knee out.
Well, okay, now. What
Flapjack
the
is on
hell?
a pure rage tonight. This one's wild. So I do think that you make a good point with the first part, Flapjack. I think this coaching staff got way too cocky. Winning. I don't think they understood the magnitude of Patrick Mahomes and how much he was carrying. Like, oh, well, we're
How
playing
did
well.
you
We're
not know that, though?
because they're stupid. We just talked about this. They have no common sense.
We just had that for 45 minutes, yeah.
But I don't think they understood. It's like he said, I think they were like, oh, we don't have to have these great players because we're just a brilliant offense. We don't need all that. And it's like, no, you have Patrick Mahomes carrying your ass. And guess what? You blew his knee out now.
Yeah.
But I think that's definitely a thing, and I think they've got to make sure they put talent around him. I don't know why you're on the trade Rice thing. I don't know if I can get around that or get with that one. I think that Rashee Rice is a big asset to the team, honestly. I think if they would continue to use him the way they had in the last couple of years, just quick hitters, man, quick little slants, get him the ball, get him in space, and let him run. Because, I mean, with the ball in his hands, he's essentially a running back. He's going to get you a lot of yak. And I think that he's valuable. Now, I mean, if you think trading him could get you a lot in return, which I don't know if it would at this point, but maybe. And I think Mahomes, why did he blow his knee out, you think? That seemed intentional.
What? Okay, so some of this is just crazy. I don't think you trade Rice. I think Rashee Rice will get signed. I think he'll be back here. I guess you have an argument that he's not a wide receiver one. I'll say that. But at the same time, before he blew his knee out back 2 years ago, he was right on pace with the bigger guys. When he first come back this year, you seen what the offense looked like using him. And then we just all kind of stopped doing it. Like everything shifted and changed. It's like they wanted to do something different. So
Yeah.
I think, see, Kevin says they've regressed,
I wanted
but
to bring
I'm
this
not
up.
really seeing regression.
I don't want to pick on Kevin, so I'm not trying to pick on Kevin here, but I saw this and I wanted to bring it up because we've seen this comment so much from so many people.
Yeah.
Talking about Worthy's not good and he's regressed and Rice isn't really good. He's regressed. He's went backwards. Did it ever occur to anybody that the offense itself just sucks ass?
Yeah, I think that's what you're seeing.
Think it's every player on the team, like Patrick Mahomes is regressed. Everybody's regressed. They're all regress.
Yeah.
I don't think that every player on this team just woke up and forgot how to play football.
Play football anymore.
Yeah, dude. If it's not more obvious that this
It's
entire
more
offense is
logical
just
that
not
this
shit,
offense just stinks. Yeah.
I think so, man. That's just where I'm at with it. But not picking on you, Kevin. I've seen a lot of people saying that. But yeah, I just had to talk about that for a second. But I appreciate the 20 bomb, Flapjack. You're the man, even if you want to trade Rashee Rice. But I would like to know your logic behind that one. I'm sure you have a great explanation for me.
Oh, gosh. Be PG. PG explanation.
Let's go. Guys, appreciate y'all being here tonight, by the way. Hit that like button if you haven't yet. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't. All that fun stuff. We didn't forget about the members-only live stream, by the way, for December. It's just the holidays made things crazy. And Mike's also been a little under the weather. We also have the vid going around the house here. So I'm just waiting for my turn on that one. But either way, we will get a members only live stream for December. We'll get that made up here probably in the next few days, to be honest. So be on the lookout for that. If you'd like to become a member of the channel, you can go to join.allchiefedup.com or hit that join button at the top of the chat there and become a member for just $4.99 a month. Mike, I don't know if we've decided what we're giving away for this one, have we?
No, just a store item. I thought was what we were going with, but I don't know what we're doing.
We're gonna give some stuff away that we always
We'll figure
do
it
on
out.
those, and it'll be a good time. But yeah, I appreciate you guys. I think everybody should go watch college football and see what's going on. That's what I think. And we'll probably have like I said, we have a video out from, earlier today. If you haven't got to watch that yet, go watch that. We talked a lot about the Kyle Pitts thing and that whole tight end situation and all that fun stuff, man. Steve says, Mike, you need to eat your vitamins.
Bro, I eat vitamins like
Get you a
candy.
Flintstone vitamin.
It don't work.
Straight from 1990. And you crunch that little bad boy. And
I wonder what vitamin
eat
I
the whole
need.
bottle like we used to.
Yeah, I wonder what vitamin I need because I take zinc and vitamin C every day religiously. So I don't know what else I need. Like, what else is good for you? It's probably like vitamin D. We haven't had sunshine here in about 6 months.
Yeah, there you go.
I got to get the hell out of Kentucky.
Yeah, blame Kentucky. Just blame Kentucky. It's always
Sucks
easy to
here,
do.
bro.
Yep, guys, we appreciate you. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Hit the like button on the way out. We'll catch you next time. Go Chiefs.
Wow.